You weren't born to be stuck. You weren't born to drown in hesitation or sink into comfort or wait for permission to rise. But here you are watching your potential rust, your fire dim, and your destiny delay. Not because life denied you, not because fate forgot you, but because you've tolerated your own inaction. You've mistaken planning for progress, motion for movement, dreams for decisions. The truth is, the prison you're in is not made of iron or circumstance. It's made of your mindset. You're still stuck because you've allowed your mind to become a cage, not a weapon, not a compass, a cage, built brick by brick with thoughts like, I'm not ready, I don't have enough, what if I fail? And what you don't realize is that every time you speak those doubts, you give them life. You hand over the keys to your own kingdom, and you do it quietly. Every morning you hit snooze on your calling. Every time you chase distraction over discipline, every moment you seek approval instead of power, you're making a choice to remain where you are, but you weren't built for stagnation. The blood in your veins is the same blood that ran through the hearts of giants, men and women who stood up when the world expected silence. Lincoln was stuck in poverty. Edison was stuck in failure. Oprah was stuck in rejection. Disney was stuck in bankruptcy, and they had every reason to stay stuck, but they didn't, because they understood something most don't. Being stuck is a decision you make again and again. Every day you choose not to fight back. You see, life doesn't owe you clarity before commitment. It doesn't hand you confidence before courage. It doesn't give you the road before you take the first step. You don't get to wait your way into greatness. You act your way there. The problem isn't the world. It's not the economy. It's not your past. It's not your age. It's not your lack of followers or funding or fame. It's the silent deal you made with yourself to remain less than you were born to be. You've been trained by society, by culture, by the weak voices around you, to believe that playing small is noble, that waiting is wise, that blending in is safe. But nothing about your soul was designed for safety. It was designed for significance. You're still stuck because your beliefs are infected. You've believed the lie that your circumstances define your ceiling. But the truth, the greatest men and women in history didn't wait for conditions to be perfect. They forged greatness in the fires of chaos. When everything screamed impossible, they roared back, watch me. You think it's time that's keeping you stuck. But time doesn't trap people. Fear does, doubt does, confusion does. You've confused motion with movement. You read, you plan, you dream, but you don't execute. You don't leap. You don't burn the ships and commit fully, and that half-heartedness is what's poisoning your potential. Imagine if Henry Ford had waited until everyone believed in his vision. Imagine if the Wright brothers had stopped after the first crash. Imagine if Rosa Parks had told herself, now's not the time. Progress is never convenient. It's forged in resistance. You're still stuck because you think pain means stop. But in truth, pain means you're on the edge of power. Growth feels like breaking before it feels like building. Evolution feels like death before it feels like freedom. The caterpillar doesn't become the butterfly in comfort. It dissolves. It unravels. It sheds its past in a violent process of transformation. You're afraid of breaking. But what if breaking is the very thing that sets you free? Stop looking for the path that costs nothing. There isn't one. The price of your future is paid in discomfort, in sacrifice, in choosing purpose over popularity, truth over convenience, discipline over distraction. You don't get to the top by accident. No one drifts into greatness. You decide, and right now, whether you know it or not, you've decided. You've decided to stay in the job you hate, to hold onto the excuses that soothe you, to avoid the hard conversations, to stay quiet when your soul is screaming. You've decided to survive rather than to build. But hear this. Every day you delay, the cost compounds, the regret deepens, the weight gets heavier, and one day that voice inside you, the one that used to roar with potential, will go silent. And that's when you truly become stuck. Not because you can't move, but because you've forgotten how. You don't need more time. You don't need more motivation. You don't need another sign. You need to reclaim the fire. The fire that says, I was not born to blend in. I was not born to repeat history. I was born to create it. You need to make war with the thoughts that hold you down. You need to fight like hell for the version of you that exists beyond the fear, beyond the doubt, beyond the small life you've been tolerating. Why are you still stuck? Because you haven't decided to become unbreakable. Not interested in hype, not motivated by the moment, but forged from a deeper code, a belief that says, I will not die with my potential still inside me. Stuck is not a circumstance. It is a state of surrender. And most people never break free because they've grown addicted to the chains. You've gotten comfortable in your cage. You've painted the walls with words like realistic, someday, almost. But the truth is, you've become loyal to your limitations. You defend them, you justify them, you nurture the very stories that suffocate you. You say things like, I'm just being practical. It's not the right time. I've got responsibilities. But deep down you know the truth. Those aren't reasons, they're rationalizations. They're the subtle lies you whisper to yourself, so you don't have to face the fear of stepping fully into your power, because power comes with pressure, because real growth doesn't feel good. It burns. You think your stuckness is caused by what you lack, but in reality it's caused by what you refuse to unleash, your boldness, your decisiveness, your obsession with purpose, all buried under the dust of distraction and delay. And the enemy of your destiny isn't failure, it's mediocrity. It's the slow death of your calling buried under 1,000 quiet compromises. You didn't get stuck all at once. You got stuck one postponed decision at a time, one tolerated excuse at a time, one ignored gut feeling at a time. Think about it. Walt Disney was fired for lacking imagination. Imagine if he believed it. Imagine if he let that judgment become his identity. But he didn't. He doubled down. He got clearer, hungrier. He imagined a world no one else could see, and he built it brick by brick, not because he was lucky, but because he refused to remain stuck. And that's what separates the great from the average. Not talent, not timing, but refusal, a deep bone, shaking refusal to accept anything less than what their soul was screaming for. What about you? What are you tolerating that you were meant to transcend? What habits are you clinging to that are killing your greatness in silence? What boundaries have you never pushed because you're still asking the world for permission? Here's the truth you've avoided. You don't rise by changing your life. You rise by changing yourself. And when you change yourself, your beliefs, your standards, your discipline, your life has no choice but to rise with you. But here's the warning. You can't bring the old version of you into the future you're meant to build. That version has to die, the one who hesitates, the one who plays small, the one who needs applause before action, the one who waits until they feel ready. Let it die, because the next level of your life demands a next level version of you. And that version is waiting, on the other side of your decision. Don't you dare let fear write your legacy. Don't you dare let the opinions of the small drown out the roar of the giant within you. You were not built to coast. You were not built to blend. You were not built to settle. You were built for conquest, for creation, for transformation, and all of it starts the moment you decide. No more delay, no more excuse, no more compromise. You don't need to feel like it. You need to move. You need to strike. You need to train your soul to obey the voice of purpose, not the whispers of fear. Stuckness feeds off hesitation. It thrives on your overthinking, your perfectionism, your endless search for clarity. But let me ask you, when did clarity ever create revolution? Did Martin Luther King have a blueprint? Did Steve Jobs know every step when he began? Did Thomas Edison have a guarantee when he lit up the night? No, they moved anyway, they built anyway, they believed before they saw. And that's the kind of faith required of you now, the kind that acts while the rest wait, the kind that speaks while others stay silent, the kind that builds while others blame. You say you want to be free, but your habits reveal your truth, because freedom has a price. It demands sacrifice, not comfort, not ease, but radical accountability. And that's why most people never taste it, because they want transformation without the fire. They want resurrection without crucifixion. But greatness is a death and a rebirth, a shedding of all that is false, until nothing remains but truth. And here's the truth. You are not stuck because of your past. You are stuck because you keep dragging it into your future. You are not stuck because of your pain. You are stuck because you've allowed pain to become your identity. You are not stuck because you lack opportunity. You are stuck because you've refused to prepare for it. Because preparation feels slow, quiet, unrewarded. But the prepared don't wait. They dominate. The prepared don't guess. They know. And the prepared don't stay stuck. They rise. So I ask you now, not as a voice in your ears, but as a roar in your spirit, how much longer will you wait to become what you already are? What you already are is powerful beyond calculation, but power unused is power that rots, and you've let it rot long enough. The world doesn't need another person waiting for the stars to align. It needs warriors, those who create alignment through discipline. It needs builders, those who lay the bricks of their vision without applause, without guarantees, and it needs you to finally wake up from the coma of your potential, because right now you are haunted by two futures, the one you live and the one you were meant to live. And the distance between them is made of every excuse you've ever believed. So ask yourself, who would I be if I stopped lying to myself? Who would I be if I acted like my life depended on it? Who would I be if I refused to break when everything around me did? Because the real breakthrough doesn't come when the world opens its doors. It comes when you kick them down. Do you think Carnegie waited for a lucky break? He was the break. He became the door. He studied. He served. He executed relentlessly because he knew no one was coming to crown him. He had to carve his own empire from the raw stone of struggle, and the same is true for you. You're still stuck because you keep waiting for a map. But destiny doesn't give maps. It gives you a shovel, and it says, dig through your doubts, dig through your fears, dig through your past, your pain, your perceived limitations. Dig until your excuses die from exhaustion. Because the gold, the purpose, the clarity, the unstoppable momentum is buried under the very resistance you've been avoiding. And no, you won't feel ready, you won't feel qualified, but no one becomes unstoppable by feeling. It's forged by doing. Discipline is not about how you feel, it's about what you decide. It's the voice that says, I don't care if I'm tired, I don't care if I'm scared, I don't care if no one believes in me. I will not stay stuck here, not one more day. That voice lives inside you. It's just been buried, drowned out by the noise of comfort, of overconsumption, of mediocrity wrapped in productivity. You stay busy so you can avoid being honest. But let's be honest now. The greatest lie you've ever told yourself is, I'll do it later. You think time is your friend. But time is neutral. It only multiplies your decisions. If you choose growth, time will reward you. If you choose comfort, time will punish you. You are becoming something with every single day. The only question is, what? You think you need to know how, but what you really need is why, because when the why is big enough, the how will build itself. Purpose makes men immortal. It made Mandela unbreakable in prison. It made Churchill a flame in the darkest hour. It made Helen Keller a global force without sight or sound. Purpose pulls you through the fire when motivation dies, and it will die. It always does. Motivation is fleeting. Discipline is forever, and discipline is not punishment. It is proof. proof that you believe in your vision more than your mood, proof that you trust your future more than your feelings. So let's talk discipline. Let's talk about the real reason you're still stuck. Because deep down, your discipline is fragile. It crumbles when no one's watching. It folds under pressure. It disappears when things get boring or hard or slow. And the only way out of that, you must become dangerous again, dangerous to your doubts, dangerous to your past, dangerous to the version of you that accepted good enough, dangerous like David when he stepped onto the field with no armor, dangerous like Joan of Arc when she led armies with nothing but conviction, dangerous like Malcolm X when he spoke truth with a tongue made of fire. You must become dangerous to the limitations that have kept you docile. Because here's the truth, the world does not respect potential. It respects proof. You want to be respected. Prove it. Prove it in silence. Prove it in sweat. Prove it in the dark when no one sees you. And when they finally do, when the world finally opens its eyes and says, "Where have you been?" you'll smile, because you know where you've been. You've been in the shadows, building, bleeding, becoming. You've been forging a new self in the furnace of your own will, and now you're not just ready. You're inevitable. You are inevitable, if you choose to be, but the choice isn't made once, it's made daily. Hourly, moment by moment, in the silence, in the mundane, in the grind that no one claps for. And that is why most people never escape the loop, because they think becoming great is a moment, a flash, a single breakthrough, but the truth, greatness is the decision to rise when it would be easier to stay small, over and over, until staying small becomes impossible. You're still stuck because you keep returning to the man you used to be. The man who doubts himself, the man who hides his gift behind humility, the man who says maybe later, every time the voice inside him screams now, but today. That man dies, because today a new voice takes over. The voice that says, "I remember who I am," the voice that says, "I don't chase approval, I chase alignment," the voice that says, "I am done begging life to be easy, I demand it to be worth it." Understand this. The reason your breakthrough hasn't come yet is not because you're cursed or unlucky or behind. It's because life is waiting for you to prove that you're ready, not in words, but in blood. In discipline, in sacrifice, you will not receive what you haven't yet become. You want the crown, bear the cross. You want the power, carry the weight. You want freedom, then get violent with your excuses. There is no growth without tension. There is no evolution without destruction. And there is no future without death to the past. Burn the old blueprint, the one that told you to fit in, to be liked, to follow rules written by people more afraid than you. You are not here to live someone else's version of safe. You are here to write history with your life, to shake the ground with your decisions, to become the storm that silence was afraid you'd discover. And yes, it will hurt. You will lose things, people, comfort, parts of yourself you once clung to, but what you gain in return, a life worth waking up for, a soul that breathes freedom, a destiny that screams your name across time. And when that moment comes, when you're standing at the peak of a life you built from the ashes of doubt, you'll remember this truth. You were never stuck. You were waiting for yourself to finally show up, to finally rise, to finally say, "This is my life, and I refuse to die a watered-down version of who I could have been." You were waiting for the warrior in you to wake up, not the perfect you, not the polished you, but the hungry you, the bold you, the burning you, and now you're here, so move not next week, not tomorrow, now, because every second you hesitate, the life you were meant to live slips further into the hands of time. This world bows to the man who believes, and belief is not a feeling, it is not a mood, it is a weapon. Wield it, command it. Let it become the force that bends reality around your vision. You are not too late. You are right on time if you decide this is the moment everything changes. So ask yourself one last question. If not now, then when?